I'm Rick Noguchi, President and CEO of California Humanities. We're proud to host the Collective Joy Project, a public discourse series designed to explore how story, ritual, and culture can help us move through grief toward collective joy and future building. Here at California Humanities, we firmly believe that the humanities provide us with the tools to reflect, connect, and envision new possibilities together, especially during these uncertain times. I want to express my gratitude for your presence here and for your active participation in this space, and for your unwavering commitment to centering joy, a powerful practice. So now let me turn it over to our Senior Program Officer, Mariana Moscoso, who will guide today's conversation. Over to you, Mariana.
Thanks so much, Rick. And I'm so excited to be here today with everyone. Like Rick said, my name is Mariana Moscoso, they, them pronouns. It's an honor to close out this inaugural season with an artist whose work embodies everything this series stands for. Today's guest is Aïma the Dreamer, a multidisciplinary artist, MC, poet, and culture worker whose performances weave together sound, word, ritual, and liberation. Through their art, they uplift joy both as a revolutionary act and a sacred inheritance. Welcome, Aïma. It's such a gift to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, Mariana, and thank you, Rick and California Humanities for having me. It's an honor to be here, and so excited to have this conversation. It feels like it's the right medicine for the right time.
It really is. It really is. So, speaking of good medicine, to begin, we usually start with like a little reflection. And I'm going to invite everyone who is present to also participate. What is something that is bringing you joy lately, Aïma?
Ooh, good question. Something that's bringing me joy lately, I would have to say, is the practice of presence. Just trying to be more grounded in the present moment and just like to time that I spend with people that I love, with people that I create with, and finding the moments where I get to witness our transformation, personal and collective. Those vulnerable moments, those feel like the most honest and alive. And yeah, I think those are the main things that are really holding my joy these days.
I love that so much, and I relate to it. For me, the thing that's been bringing me joy lately is the opportunity to be with artists, culture makers, culture bearers from every part of the world and imagining possibilities for our collective thriving. And for folks that are joining us in the Zoom room, feel free to drop into the chat. What's something that is bringing you joy lately? So thank you so much for sharing with me, Aïma. To ground us in today's conversation, which is called Rhythms of Resistance, Joy, Ritual, and Collective Memory, it really invites us to think about how art, rhythm, and ritual hold memory across generations. So to ground us in this theme, Aïma, I want to ask you if you could share a piece, whether it's like a lyric, a practice, a story, just anything that captures how rhythm has been a bridge between resistance and joy in your work.
Mm. Oh, well, thank you for sharing with me about your joy. And I'm seeing the chat come alive a little bit and witnessing everyone who's present here sharing about their joy. Um, I would love to share a verse that I feel like encompasses that practice of like rhythm and resistance and how it meets. This is a snippet from a verse of a song called Movements by Kev Choice that I got to feature on, and it was written in a time like in the wake of the George Floyd uprising, in the midst of the California fires, and like really in the heart of the first year of the pandemic in 2020, like where joy was just kind of elusive in all my traditional ways that I used to find it, but it revealed itself on a deeper level through acts of like community care and exercising our rights against injustice. So this is from that song Movements. And okay. They not gonna steal our hope like they trying to steal these polls. And we still gonna go because we all know our roles. Prayers work. Fast like a candle. We light it up. Action and intention now dismantle. We coming for that office. So you can get off it. No, you cannot stop us. Actually, we could run for office. Yes, I'm really talking to whoever's listening because it's the people's movement and this moment, it is everything. Hold your visions close. Put your focus on the offerings. Say the names of the fallen, not forgotten, and stand tall in the call in. Double down, tell me, are you all in? And since we just had our Mom Donnie Moon, and this, in a way, like these verses can feel like prophecy. So even just reading this now is like giving me a different layer of joy because I'm like, oh, like it's like we're still in it, but I also see how like we're moving through it. So that's my offering for this moment.
Thank you so much, Aima. And just to respond to your verse, I'm all in. So thank you.
I know you are.
Well, let's get into our conversation, the meat of our session. So, um, in your work, you've spoken about performance being like a prayer. So, how do you see your creative practice as a form of ritual? And how does ritual help you hold both grief and joy?
Oh, but this is the core. We in the juicy parts. Well, I didn't come into performing to build a career like some might be inspired to do. I really came into it as a place where I needed somewhere to explore and share everything that I was feeling. And poetry, spoken word, and then eventually hip hop became that language that I needed to survive. And I loved how you said at the top of this interview, the collective thriving. And so, like, performance is a practice and a ritual of that collective thriving. And for me, being queer, mixed heritage, I was raised by an immigrant mother. I'm first generation. We navigated poverty, houselessness. I'm a survivor. The open mic and that space um, was a consistent space of ceremony. And like hip hop artists are called MCs, they're masters of ceremony. And so like the practice and the ritual of that art was my ritual: intention, repetition, breath, release, an act of transformation. And so what I was living in my life that felt too heavy to hold on my own became something shared and something witnessed.
Ooh, that is so incredibly powerful. And uh, I think I loved how you positioned the performance as this collective ritual that we're all participating in. I never really thought about it in that way, but it makes sense. And even something that I was talking about recently, because I kind of like music too that is very repetitive, that says the same phrase over and over. And this person that I was talking to, they had heard the song that I was listening to, and they're like, "Why do you listen to that? It's like not good music." And I said, "Excuse me, that comes from a very long tradition of trance, like inducing trances. So, yes, it's good music, it's part of a legacy."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like often, and I know we're gonna get into it later in the conversation, but often like we are reaching for like these affirmations, these spells, and they
Hmm.
show up in repetition. And we
Yeah.
have to because literally like everything around us is trying to program us into capitalism, program us into like systemic oppression. And we have to not only fight that, reprogram ourselves and reach back for like what we know is our ancestral programming, our legacy. So
Yeah,
good for you.
absolutely.
Good for you. That is good music. Come over
Yes.
here.
So, speaking of legacy, and that makes me think about our collective memory and ancestors. And your work, if folks aren't familiar with Aïma, Aïma is just all around artist. Like today, we're only talking about this little snippet, but Aïma, your work really honors ancestors, movement, and memory. So, how do you see rhythm and poetry as ways to keep those collective memories alive?
Mm, such a beautiful question. Well, rhythm and poetry is how I remember, right? Like touching on that repetition. It's how I remember, and how sharing my music is how I let myself be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you when you create whatever it is you create, and we are all creators. Whoever's listening to this, you are a creator. Everything we see around us came from a thought. And it is truly our human nature to touch creation. It's like touching immortality in a way. And the poetry for me, and my offerings, they become like a living archive. And it's what we're carrying in our bodies. It's what our spirits know. Um, when I like write and perform, I'm speaking to the ones who came before me. And I'm also writing, spell work. Like I'm writing rap spells for my future selves. I'm leaving like breadcrumbs in the rhythm so I can find my way back later, in moments of like, that we know that we know that we know. And sometimes we're going to say something today and we don't even know why. We just know we got to speak it,
Mm-hmm.
we got to share it, and we'll find out later in our 2020 hindsight. So I always felt like artists are both the historians and the prophets. And we're documenting right now. We're like transmuting what we're saying. We're the empaths. We're like filtering what's happening. We're on the front lines. Artists are frontline responders. And at the same time, we're also imagining what could come next and imagining the possibility when there might not be any proof right now, right? So it's like we allow ourselves, we give ourselves allowance to like vision, like through rhythm and vision, to keep that culture and memory alive. And yeah, each like piece is each verse is like a time stamp and a prayer.
Ooh, you're just dropping all the gems today. Like my heart, like if you could feel my heart, like my body is so excited. And I was moved to tears because you're speaking my language. And I hope folks like listening to Aïma are feeling just the power of their words and the power of possibility of how every act, right? And even in my work, I talk about like I create because I'm part of creation, right? Like there's no separation between what I do and the fact that I exist, and the importance of to be in a practice of creation. And I really think we need to invite ourselves, all of us, everyone, we need to invite ourselves into the remembering of how we are creators, co-creators of this reality.
Exactly. We're co-creators, and no matter like no matter what the heaviness of the moment is, all things change, like the great Octavia E. Butler says, like God is change. So all things change. So in sort of that philosophy and leaning on that, whatever is showing up is manifesting as like an opposition to like beliefs, society, cultural liberation, that we too can imagine our ways out of it without the how.
Yeah.
And yeah, the practice is powerful. And yeah, I'm feeling you. Mirror, 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 portal, portal.
Yes. Speaking of the imagination, and I think joy is deeply tied to imagination, right? Because that is a place where we can experience other possibilities than, like you said, other possibilities than what we're being confronted with. And so in a world where oppression often seeks to silence us, how does joy become an act of defiance?
Ugh. Um, I mean, in the simplest of terms, joy is my rebellion. Joy, okay, listen, raised in the struggle, like my joy is already politicized. My joy is already an act of resistance. And so it is like the heart and the root of my resistance and my rebellion. And it isn't an escape for me. It's like it's a return, and it's a return to my wholeness. And I often think about like if I'm not aspiring to live like my utmost life, it's like a juicy life that's like against all odds, and that I'm touching like a little bit of the impossible, then what do I have to fight for? Then like really
Mm-hmm.
like what is it that I'm fighting for? What is it that's like building that fire in me? And so it then becomes joy then becomes like the rebellion and also the practice of right relation. And, because we're talking about rhythm, how we stay in rhythm with what matters. And it's like it's the dancing while you're grieving. It's the laughing in the resistance. It's loving each other through the exhaustion, through the overwhelm, and um, choosing that joy and that act of remembering aliveness as a birthright and not a reward. That I think, the colonial, for me, I could see how the colonial mindset is like, you do this and your reward is later, or this idea of nirvana or heaven is later. But
Right.
I don't believe that. I believe that it is our birthright in this life to be in our joy and to be in a right relation, and not to be an afterthought or a reward.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And actually, I was facilitating a space of culture bears, and now I don't even remember the context of exactly what we were talking about, but the phrase remained so deeply inside of me. And whenever I experience grief, and not to like make grief go away, but to transmute that grief or transmute that anger, one of the participants said, "Your life has already been paid for." And that phrase, let me tell you, it happened September 2024. That's
Come
I
on.
know I hold that date like I always whenever I experience resistance within myself, when I try to block myself from experiencing joy or experiencing anything I want to experience,
Mhm.
I say to myself, your life has already been paid for. And it's like jumping off a cliff, you know?
Yes. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams.
We really are.
It's paid for with prayer, blood, sweat, tears, with our ancestors' lives. And so we don't have to. No, thank you. We don't want to.
Yeah.
We're
And it's also,
choosing.
yeah, we can say no with that phrase. We can say yes with that phrase. It's been such an important invitation in my life. And so shout
Mm,
out to Uzo, who was the person who said it.
yeah,
Uh,
with the wisdoms.
yes. So speaking, I called in Uzo and it just is making me think about community and collaboration. And you often collaborate with other artists and with community. And so, what have you learned about collective creativity as a path toward healing and liberation?
Mm. Oh, man, I don't know where I would be without my incredible collaborators. Collaboration it's hands down one of my greatest teachers. It constantly reminds me. that creativity is not a solo act. There is nothing that has been created or will be created that is an island unto itself. It's a living ecosystem, and working in community, it asks so many things of me. It asks me to slow down, to
Yeah.
listen deeply, to let go of control. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna let that one sit, and
Different
to
land.
trust
Yeah.
between you and who or even what you're collaborating with, right? Because a collaborator doesn't necessarily have to be in human form. You could be
Yeah.
collaborating with the cosmos. You could be collaborating, with someone who isn't here anymore. So just like opening up our mind to that, and that collaboration and that collective creativity is a practice of liberation in real time. And it's like not just about making art together, but building that relationship that models the world that we want. And so I think people being seen and valued and cared for is like when we think about what mediums we work in, I feel like that is also a medium, like the most beautiful paint
Yeah.
mission and
Absolutely.
the responsibility of caring for that. And so, yeah, I think when we practice that collaboration with intention, we're practicing interdependence. And it's like the healing isn't like happening inside of us, it's the healing that happens between us that I get really juiced for.
Absolutely. And how, I don't know if this happens with you, but sometimes it's the witnessing that heals, of witnessing others
I mean,
and being
as a
witnessed.
performer, yeah, as a performer and an only child, it's like the deepest inner child work. I'm like, please witness me. Witness me. And like, see me.
Yeah.
So for sure, that witnessing is that is big medicine. That's big
Yeah.
medicine.
Wow. All right. So I'm thinking about collaborating with the intangible. And in some ways, to me, that is like imagining the future, right? You're collaborating with the future to be. And
Hmm.
so, as we look ahead, what dreams or visions are guiding your work right now? And what do liberated futures sound like, feel like, move like for you?
Mariana, these questions got me cracked open right now. Beautiful, beautiful prompt, beautiful question. My vision for the future. My vision for the future is going to be rooted in embodiment and in creating,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's creating art, but it's also holding ritual spaces
Yeah.
where liberation can be practiced together versus something like we just talk about or like a destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this living practice. And I have some current projects that is is the work of what I'm talking about. I have a project called Femme Rage that I co-founded with a brilliant filmmaker, strategist, artist named Sada Taborga. And a lot of my work centers the lives and experience of the QT BIPOC community, and then also like everywhere that intersects, like with our allies, well, comrades. I've been saying like I'm good on
Yeah.
allies. I just want comrades now. So
Yeah.
that centers and like the of allowing our rage or what we've been taught to hold or hide be witnessed as sacred. And so like that project is reminding me that liberation starts with allowance, not permission. We're not asking for permission. We don't need to ask for permission. We exist in our wholeness, but making space and allowance to feel and speak and release. And so I imagine a liberated future in that way. And then I have a well-known here in Oakland, California, legacy event called Soulovely that also centers QT BIPOC community. It's a dance party, but it's also become And I co-founded that with my brilliant collaborators, calling in my collaborators, DJ Emancipation and DJ Lady Ryan. And in 2026, we're going to be celebrating 15 years. And so as I'm
Wow.
imagining a future, I'm also imagining a legacy. Like what is it
Yeah,
to create legacy and see it through? And so that legacy is like the continuum of our queer Black and brown joy, period. Case in point,
period.
joy in rhythm. And it's been over a decade that we've been moving in rhythm with each other, and that feels like home. So yeah, like the imagined future is our truth spoken out loud, being fully in our bodies, not terrorizing our bodies. And
Mm, sorry, you cut out for a little bit and
did
I
you get
missed
the
the
fluid
last
and
part.
free part?
No, but I did now.
I'm like, if anyone heard anything, it's fluid and free.
Thank you. Yes, I heard it now. And I like for folks that are deep in humanities, I want to like invite folks to imagine history, like the practice of studying history, understanding history as a form of ancestor work, because that is what it is. It's ancestral practice and a way to root us towards the future. Um, yeah, so our time is it happens so fast. Like our time is almost over. And
I'm
so
not ready.
I know we gotta make these longer. Um, so as we close out, I was wondering if you could offer us a short reflection or a poem or anything that can remind us of the power of rhythm, joy, or even our breath.
Okay, thank you for this invitation and for this stunning conversation. Um, what a beautiful, potent facilitator you are. And I just like, I know we're closing out the year, and I just like want to honor you and all your lived practice of embodying this and sharing it and bringing us together to touch these topics and to like be in our joy. So, okay, I want to maybe I can do a little bit of both. If if you can, put your feet on the ground, and if it's available to you, unclench your hands. And I want to just bring us back into our bodies. Um, and if you're able to put your hand on your heart, back to the first rhythm we ever knew, our birth parents' heartbeat, our own heartbeat, um, the pattern that vibration that has the reminder of where we come from, that connection, and just knowing that everything that lives has rhythm. Every being, every tree, every pulse of the wind, it emits a frequency, a pattern, and that pattern is rhythm. And it's how the universe keeps time. And even when things fall apart or fall together, as the case may be, that rhythm will keep finding its way back. It shifts, it reshapes, and it never disappears. So, in any moment that you need to remind yourself of that, put your hand on your heart. I'm gonna share some lyrics to me that I feel like is a reminder for myself. Finding peace of mind in the pause, knowing if we don't keep on going, moments wasted. So we focus future bright, we get a glimpse of it, we taste it. That moment that's so beautiful, we gonna bless it, we won't hoard it. And every win, no matter how small, we won't ignore it. We won't step back. We will move forward. Ashe.
Ashe. Whew. Thank you, Aima. I couldn't imagine a better way to close out the last 6 months of the Collective Joy Project. Thank you for bringing yourself, your heart, your ancestors, your community into this space with us today. Um, we are going to drop it, and I see some links have already been shared in the chat, but we're also going to drop in Aïma's IG and the IG of Femme Rage and Soulovely. And of course, to anyone that is watching us live or watching the recording, thank you so much for being part of this journey. Over the past 6 months, we've explored how joy connects to grief, to land, culture, and to memory, and to our ancestors. So this marks the end of our inaugural season. We're so grateful to everyone that's tuned in, shared, and reflected. And just one last thing from everyone before you go. Share a word or an emoji about how this conversation made you feel today. Aïma, I think I know how the conversation made you feel today, but tell us in your words.
I feel full. I feel fed. I feel sustained. Mariana, this conversation was so potent and such a like crucial reminder for me, and the reminder of like why we do what we do and like how we're in co-creation. So I'm gonna be sitting in this reflection and this memory for a long time, and I'm just so grateful for you and thank you so much to like the whole team, the whole crew, like what you do.
Thank you,
Grounded in
Aïma.
gratitude.
Me too. Deep gratitude to you all as well, and to everyone here. I'm walking away full, and I wish everyone a restful winter season. Let's rest our spirits, let's rest our minds, and let's keep finding our rhythm, touch our hearts, honoring our joy, and remembering that joy is a strategy. Carry it forward. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.